Hi, I'm Time sports correspondent Sean Gregory, and I'm joined by 10-time NBA All-Star Chris Paul of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's also the president of the National Basketball Players Association. Chris, welcome to Time 100 Talks.
Man, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Chris, let's start with the historic moment in which we're living. More than ever, athletes have led Get Out the Vote initiatives around the country. And you yourself led a march of 2,500 people to an early polling location in your home state of North Carolina. What was the impact of athletes getting involved on such a large scale in determining the outcome of this race?
And the impact, I think, is something that guys may not have recognized as we were going through it. But obviously, after seeing the results of the election and seeing the amount of people that showed up to vote, I think guys all around our league, other leagues or whatnot, should be proud of this moment in time. But it's not just about right now. I think this is what elections are going to look like going forward. We saw a platform. We saw that we could speak out on certain things. And I think we'll all look back on this time years from now and be at least somewhat proud and grateful that we were a part of it.
The power of athlete activism was on full display in August, in the days following Jacob Blake's shooting. The Milwaukee Bucks did not take the court for a playoff game, effectively shutting down the NBA. The NBA shut down, then all of sports shut down. Could you please take us inside the Orlando bubble during that historic moment? How close did the season come to actually shutting down?
Season was very close to shutting down. And, it was an interesting time for all of us. When the Jacob Blake situation happened, we were playing every other day. We were away from our families, not complaining by any means, but we needed a chance to process everything that was happening. So when Milwaukee decided not to play, just as a brotherhood does, we all decided not to play. And we needed to have real conversations. And our league is special because we really do have an impact. So when that happened, the amount of phone calls that I got from guys that were in the NFL or Major League Baseball or soccer, they were paying attention. And they were like, what are you guys doing? We want to do the same. And so it was more so giving us the opportunity to take a deep breath and process everything that was happening. And once again, that's a situation that I think our league will look back on and be proud that we were a part of it. And we got to have real conversations.
Was there an especially tense moment where things could have gone either way, that broke stuff either way?
Yeah, it was a lot of tense moments. And the thing is, especially when you're involved in sport or life in general, hard conversations have to happen. So arguments are healthy, right? And so when we were in that room, guys got a chance to get a lot of things off their chest, right? Because like I said, we were away from our families. Being the father of a young Black male and a young Black female, my son and my daughter, I wasn't at home to explain to them the things that they were seeing occur. So it was very tumultuous. It was a lot of hard conversations, but we realized the platform that we had, and we didn't want to give that up. We didn't want to give that platform up. So we found a way to play and continue to use our voices on that platform.
And amazingly, the NBA was able to complete its 2019-2020 season in the Orlando bubble without a single positive COVID-19 test. Yes, the NBA had the benefit of daily testing and other resources not available to most other enterprises like retail businesses and schools. But what lessons can Americans learn from the NBA bubble experience?
Man, that's a good question. That's a real good question, Sean, because there were countless hours spent on trying to get the bubble ready. So many people on the union staff, so many players, so many people from the NBA staff. And I think the biggest thing that we learned is how important communication is, right? And not just having one side say, this is what you're going to do and this is how you're going to do it. We had players involved. We wanted to talk about what we were comfortable with. And the other thing too is everyone had to make a real sacrifice and understand that in trying to fight this virus, it's not just about you, right? So as we were in the bubble, we had different protocols, different things that you had to do on a daily basis. You had to take your temperature in the morning. You had to be tested every single day. And you realize when the bubble is over and we had no positive tests, which is amazing. And you realize that, I'm not just responsible for me, I'm responsible for my teammate. And everyone that took part in it realized how selfless you had to be.
Yep. And Chris, the 2020-2021 NBA season is slated to start on December 22nd. That 71-day turnaround is the shortest. The turnaround between the end of the NBA Finals and the start of this new season is the shortest in U.S. Pro team sports history. In reaction to this news, your friend LeBron James posted a head slap emoji. I think he wanted to rest a little bit more. But what have you said to union members like LeBron and other players who are worried about the tight turnaround here?
Yeah, none of the things that everyone is dealing with right now is ideal, right? Nothing. I think about us and we get an opportunity to play this game, right? But I also think about, my kids who are doing online school, right? Day in and day out. So the decisions that we're making, you know, we're blessed to be in the situation that we're in, right? And like I said, things aren't ideal, but we're trying to make them work. We have a full body of players, and we're always trying to be collaborative and giving all the guys as much information as possible. We don't know what this season is going to look like yet, right? To tell you the truth, everyone was saying, congrats on the bubble, congrats on the bubble, and the whole time I was shaking my head like, you saw the bubble. We got to try to figure out what we're gonna do next. So there's still a lot of questions that have to be answered, but we're working on it. Nothing is perfect, and everything that you see, I'm sure if you see Sean with work and stuff like that, you sort of learning everything on the fly. The only thing that's in control right now is that virus. So we're working hard to try to make sure that not only our players are happy, but our fans are happy.
Are injuries to players a concern with the very abbreviated offseason?
That's always a top concern. That was a top concern even when we decided to go play in the bubble, right? So everything is about trying to let our players know in advance as possible so that they can prepare themselves. But we will never try to compromise a guy's health, right? And not just injury from playing, even as far as coronavirus, right? So everything that we try to do from a player perspective, especially from a union perspective, is players first.
Chris, as you know, COVID-19 cases continue to rise across the country, and the NBA plans to start a new season without the protection of a bubble. This 72-game season will involve plenty of travel, which you didn't have to worry about in Orlando. Why are you confident that the upcoming season will be safe?
Well, to tell you the truth, there are so many different committees, and our league is a big league with all these different people that work for the league as well as the union, right? There's doctors, there's all these different people who luckily are a lot smarter than me, right? So once again, like I said, Sean, I don't have all the answers yet. We haven't even figured out all the protocols. We're sort of doing this on the fly. We're figuring it out. We sort of reached an agreement to what we would like to do, but once again, we have to sort of wait and see what happens as far as the virus and what's happening as far as testing. So we are hopeful and know that we want to play.
Is there any specific measures that you really feel that the NBA must put in place for this?
One particular measure. I don't think there's just one. There's a lot of different ones. Testing is very key, right? Like that's the only way that we survived, or survived might not be the right word, but that may be the only way that the bubble worked, is that we had that testing, that constant testing. And we're going to see what happens with this season. Obviously, we have enough information of watching Major League Baseball or football and all this different type stuff. So we're figuring it out.
And I have to ask, you had a big year last year, Chris. So you're a man in demand. There's lots of trade rumors out there. You going to LA, you going to New York. So what's your response to all the trade talk?
That fortunately I'm going into my 16th season, so I control what I can control. It's always some different rumor happening or whatnot. Luckily, I don't have any alerts on my phone, so I don't know what the new news is today. Fortunately, I'll be on calls all the time figuring out what we're doing with the league, but I'm preparing myself, right? So that's the part about it, man. I'm 35 years old. I still get a chance to play basketball every day and say that's my way of life, right? That is crazy in itself. So regardless what happens, I'll be ready.
And you've got a lot going on. Like, how long do you see yourself playing?
How long do I see myself playing? I feel great. I said, I don't know, maybe another 5 years, something like that. it's interesting. I always ask my kids about it. My daughter, she don't really care. She don't even probably know who I play for right now. But my son, on the other hand, is always interesting to talk to him about it because he's 11, right? And I love to play. I love to play. So I don't foresee the feeling coming that I don't love the game. So if my kids ever said like, "Dad, I'm tired of you traveling," then it would it would hit totally different.
And what kind of conversations have you had with your 11-year-old son during all this tumult we've seen throughout 2020?
Man, that's a great question. As a parent, you try to somewhat shield your kids from things at times. You like, man, I don't want to give them too much of the information. But I think starting with the George Floyd thing is when we really started communicating with our kids and letting them know what was going on because they needed to know. They needed to know. So through these times, you know, I'm a parent first before any and everything. I'm not their friend, I'm their parent. But one of the things that I keep doing with my kids is just keep encouraging them and telling them how dope they are because the things that they're enduring right now, me and their mom never had to. Right. I got a chance to go to school day in and day out. Sometimes you went to school just to see a friend, just to see anything. And so for our kids now to be sort of doing online day in and day out is different. It's different. And they have their hard days, but I try to let them know how special they are and that they rock stars to be able to deal with what they're doing.
Chris, I just want to ask you in conclusion to look forward a bit. Given everything the 2020 sports season went through, has the way athletes play sports and the way fans experience it changed forever? Like, what's your hope for the sports world moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. First and foremost, I hope that it hasn't changed forever. Right. I mean that when I say it, I hope it hasn't changed forever because as an athlete, there's nothing like the fans. There's nothing like the fans. And, this year and the bubble, it was virtual, but I'm telling you, like when you play this game, and it's funny, I worked out with DeMar DeRozan this morning and we were talking about it. Like some of these young guys that's in the NBA, they haven't really had an opportunity to feel the energy of the fans being in the building, right? As far as the playoffs go. So my hope is that this is temporary, but we will get back to our sporting events and being around people and community. And that is my hope. I'm a big time people person. And there's nothing like hitting a winning shot and the crowd, right? There's nothing like that, or the silence. And you making me feel like I'm at a game right now. So my hope is that everything that we're going through right now is temporary. And I try to tell my kids that, you start to learn and understand that experiences like this hopefully make you stronger. And you realize that as much as you think you are in control, you're not. You're not. And so that's my hope for the future.
And just because you mentioned fans, do you envision fans at this upcoming season? Do you see a world where that could exist?
Man, that'd be nice. That would absolutely be nice. With the fact that we about to start, in a few weeks. Yeah, that's another one that's above my pay grade. I don't know. I feel like right now it's still like depending on what city it is or what state it is. But it goes back to what I continue to say is that safety has to come first, right? Safety has to come first. So I don't think we should compromise anything or any fans being anywhere if it's not safe.
Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us today on Time 100 Talks.
No problem, Sean. Thanks for having me.